welcome to Exploring Santa Cruz, a bi-weekly program on KSQD 89.5, 89.7, and 90.7 FM. I'm your host, Mathilde Rand. My guests are Becca King Reed and Janie Islas. Becca King Reed is Executive Director of Community Television of Santa Cruz. Becca develops and oversees video equipment grants for educators and other organizations that offer or would like to offer digital media education to Santa Cruz youth. Janie Islas is a District Technology Innovation Coach for the Pajaro Valley Unified School District. She went through the Padcaster training program a couple of years ago while teaching in a second-grade classroom at Ohlone Elementary School. Janie is knowledgeable on the power of media making with students and can speak firsthand about using the Padcasters with students. Welcome, Becca and Janie.
Thanks for having us.
Since we're talking Padcasters, people may not know what it is. Yeah. So, first of all, what kind of programs does CTV have for educators?
We have the equipment grant, not a fancy name, but it gets to the point. That was the original grant that we did, and what that was, we could choose a studio configuration, an edit configuration, or a camera and audio. And our goal with that was to set young people up for a good education in video production so that they would be ready for like an entry-level job when they left high school. So that required real experienced teachers. We later developed the Padcaster program, which and no one knows what a Padcaster is. So I know every time I type it out, I get Podcaster from the spell check. So a Padcaster is a kit created by the Padcaster company that is a backpack, and in the backpack is an iPad, a big one, like an 11 Pro. It's pretty good size. And it comes in a frame, a metal frame that allows you to hook it to a tripod. And then on the front of the frame is a bracket that will hold a 50 millimeter lens. So then you can shoot, and people have shot movies with them. So they look simple, and they are simple. They're real intuitive. That's why we chose them. We were looking for something during the pandemic that kids could use at home on their own because they were being schooled from home. Before, we had required teachers with credentials in video production to teach these classes, and that's a team sport. There was no team. They're on their own with their parents, and we've picked the simplest thing we could find that would give them a real good quality. We didn't want the technology to be a barrier, and we wanted them to play, and our goal was for them to explore and find out if video was a path for them, either as a avocation or a vocation.
I agree. Using a tablet like an iPad makes it really easy for the students. They're used to using those at home.
The Padcasters is something that you didn't create, but you bought it. Mm-hmm. But you customized it, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Yeah. And you have trained some of the first grantees, right?
I trained a couple in the very beginning. That was before we were working with the County Office of Education, and they are excellent trainers, so I could relax. But I did train some people, and I did show some of the county office people how to put it together, how to assemble it, and they all knew how to work with iPads and that sort of thing. It was the tripod. The tripod is the thing that hangs everyone up.
Well, let's go to Janie first, because Janie, give us a little bit of background about your work with educators.
So I've been a District Tech Innovation Coach at PVUSD for over 5 years, and I work with teachers all over the district. There's about 33 schools. Me and my two coworkers who are also tech coaches provide training for teachers. We model lessons. We answer all their tech questions. One of the things we offer is a tech academy. We have different topics, and one of them is video. So we've tried a lot of different kinds of video editors and different ways of filming video. So yeah, it's a passion of mine. And so teachers can choose which tools and what learning outcomes they want, and you help them with that? Yes, exactly. So, for example, if they pick like a video tech academy, they could customize it to use whatever tools that they're interested in, or, learn everything they can about creating videos, screencasts, ideas for working with students, like, for example. Tell us about those trainings.
Oh.
What came first, and how did you then teach the kids or just teachers? But you had kind of a beta testing first?
I did. We had a beta test to see if this program would work. We had an idea. We bought 4 Padcasters, and we decided to see if we could find some teachers to take a whack at this. There was a young student graduating with her teaching credential from UCSC, and she was homeschooling 4 sisters. They were all different ages, and so she volunteered to be our beta tester, and I trained her on how to use the Padcaster and how to assemble it and everything, and then off she went. And it was great. They made the most fun films. It was a great thing because they were all different ages, and there was, I think the youngest girl was 8, and then there was a 10-year-old, and I think an 11-year-old, maybe a 13-year-old. So we had kind of a nice spectrum of age groups, and we learned from that. We asked a lot of questions, and we got really good feedback from the kids and from the teacher. That's how we came up with a different tripod for the younger kids, because it was hard for them to hold the big one. And most of the students like to use iMovie because it's on the iPad and they understand it. But the really little kids didn't. They liked to use something easier called Clips. And some of the youngest ones didn't really want to do video, just audio. So it was a real learning experience in the beginning.
Once you'd done the beta testing, you kind of knew what you're going to bring to the teachers, and then you did a training with the teachers, right, Janie? You were involved in that?
Yes. So when I signed up to try out the Padcasters, we went to CTV, and there was teachers from all over the county there, and we actually went for a couple of trainings. We got the equipment to take back to our sites, and we put it together and got a few options of tools we could use on the iPads to edit.
I just want to say this wonderful thing about COE. They developed, because one of the things that we had problems with in trying to get people to take us up on our grants was that we had required teachers to be trained and already know about video. So this time we didn't do it because COE wrote their own curriculum. And now it's free to anyone to use. So I talked to the Boys and Girls Club and the Girl Scouts and all kinds of people, but none of them had a quality person who could teach. But now there's a curriculum that anyone can use. So they have made it possible for us to not only be in the schools, and we've reached 1,250 kids so far, but to be in the greater community with other groups that maybe don't know anything about video, but they'll have this nice curriculum designed by people who know how to train.
By the COE, right. Mm-hmm. Now, didn't you tell me that when you had the training, all of these teachers were in the room and they were just...
It was great. There was a whole bunch of teachers in the room. They were divided up into groups of 3, and they started by putting a timer up on a big screen and starting it. It was counting down.
And who's they?
The leaders of the COE Innovation Group. So it was Jason Borgen. His name just escaped me. And Elizabeth Shaw and Stephanie Smyrna.
Right.
And they had a plan, and they just dropped everybody in the deep end. This big thing came up. It started counting down. You had to come up with a script. You had to shoot the script. You had to then edit it and upload it. Uploading is the hardest part. Had to upload it before the ticker ended. And they had this backpack full of equipment. They had no idea. And so they unzipped their backpacks and got out all of these different elements and stuck them together, and they did it. It was amazing. I was impressed.
Was that your impression that you got it done?
Yeah, it was interesting to see how fast we could do it. And then also at the end, having a finished product you could share with your students as an example of a video.
And you were just watching all that.
Yeah. And some of them, we have a big green screen in the studio, and they were the first people to use it. We just built a brand new one, and they came in, and I was like, oh my God. They're not only are they under pressure to write a script and produce it and upload it, but they're going to key as well. So they used the background and keyed in things. They wowed me.
Then everybody was ready.
But also, luckily, the Padcaster kits came with videos to watch, like later on. Like if you waited several weeks, it really helped me to be able to watch how to assemble everything one more time.
So it wasn't like one time and you knew everything. You had to watch a video. Did you stay in communication with other teachers on getting each other some tips and how do you do it? And
yeah, definitely some teachers reached out to me at my district because we have licenses for WeVideo for editing. But also Stephanie and Jason were available to come to the classroom and support. So they helped me when I did small groups. They took some kids out with their groups to video around the school.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have said they made some final projects. Did you put it on community television?
Of course.
Of course.
Of course. Yeah. I think it was the middle school that's real near our building. They did a real fun thing there. They were doing their own little PSAs for different things. It was an event they have every year, and they were just all out in their playground, and they did a million little videos. They've done some other things as well, and they did this. I had nothing to do with it. But they were able to put together a partnership with the state parks, and they went and interviewed not all, but many of the people who had experienced the fires in the mountains in Santa Cruz Mountains, and documented their experience. That's a really valuable thing to do.
You're seeing this. You came up with the idea. You got the Padcaster, did some research on what to get, did some training, did some beta testing, got some feedback, made some changes, such as different tripods for younger kids.
Yeah, we made a lot of changes.
A lot of changes.
Yeah, and the county really did, the thing that they did was figure out how to teach this to the teachers and give the teachers a curriculum to teach it to the kids. That's something we couldn't do. We don't have that kind of staff. That's kind of our community television is very few people, so we have to come up with interesting, creative ideas on how to get stuff out to people without being able to actually go and do the training ourselves. So partnering with the COE was a great partnership, and they have really taken off with it.
So it was a team effort.
Oh, yeah.
And you like the results.
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
you're looking for more.
Oh,
because
yeah. My goal is to get to 100 kids. I'm really happy we've got.
Well, great. Listeners, you are tuned to Exploring Santa Cruz. I am here with Becca King Reed of Community Television and Janie Islas, who is a innovation coach at PVUSD. Tell me about your experience, because you were in the classroom, and that's unique. Tell us some stories.
So a couple years ago, I got placed in a second grade classroom for a little while. I got to try out some things in the class, like the Padcaster kits with second grade. And they had never really used video before. It was a long process from the planning and then teaching like video tips, and some of them were more comfortable with some roles than others. Like some really wanted to take their turn at being the one videotaping, while others just wanted to act. Some were more comfortable like following the teacher's tips and being the facilitator. So it was interesting to see what they like. And then when it came time to edit, everybody got a chance to edit, make their own version of their videos. But they were really excited about the possibility of their videos being on TV. So, yeah, they like that.
What process did you use to get the kids into it?
Well, I chose a couple projects that Stephanie and Jason had put in their curriculum. There was one called the SODAS project. It's like a situation, like a problem solution. And so they had to come up with an idea about what's a problem at the school, what are some options you could take, what would be the best solution. And so they wrote a script for that. I would have liked to go through the process a couple more times because I think that planning, like they couldn't see what the final product would be. They're like, why am I doing so much planning? But then in the end, it paid off. Yeah.
Do they understand now that planning helps?
Yeah. I think it takes a while to see that big picture.
Tell me, what kind of problems did they solve in their little videos?
Oh, like problems at recess, like taking turns at the tetherball, or like too much trash around the playground, that kind of thing. Or what do you do when someone is not nice? But then we also did another project where they were bringing their poetry to life. So they wrote I am poems, and then they used visuals to bring that to life. And that was really fun.
Yeah, those are really key things to learn if you're thinking about being employed someday, is that working as a team, figuring out, planning ahead, because when you get deeper into television, it's very inexpensive to stay at your desk and figure things out than to go out in the field and go, well, what should we shoot? So it saves a lot of time, and it causes you to have to visualize, which is really key, what the thing is going to look like, so you can remember all of the things to shoot. So it's a great process because it really does allow kids to figure something out and to complete a project. That's a cool thing to have when you're done.
And of course, listeners, this is 89.5, 89.7, and 90.7 FM K-Squid. online, ksqd.org, and you can give us a call at 831-900-5773. I'm here with Becca King Reed and Janie Islas, and we've talked quite a bit about the experiences from the kids. How did your colleagues respond?
There was teachers from all around the county doing different projects. So I didn't really quite get to see their finished projects, but at our own district, we have our own video kit. And so for me, it was interesting comparing to see what I might want to include in ours. Like we didn't have a windscreen, and I thought that was really cool in the Padcaster kit for filming outside.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference if there's any kind of breeze.
I would really recommend, especially if a school site doesn't have access to video equipment, to borrow those Padcaster kits.
And how would they get to the Padcaster kits if a teacher is interested?
If they are in our school district, they just contact the county office and they'll get them. If they're not a part of the school district, then they just need to contact us and send me an email.
So how many Padcasters does community television have?
We currently have 50. We're happy to invest in more if people want to use them because they're great little tools for learning how to tell a story, how to communicate an idea, and effectively so that people walk away knowing what you meant.
Was it a surprise that this was such a success?
Kinda, yeah. We tried. We've done a bunch of other things, but this really took off. The thing was, we met the moment with the correct gear. At the time, kids were working on their own, and I wouldn't have put this together otherwise. It wouldn't have been what I would have chosen because I was thinking of more of a professional outcome. And this really was different for us. It was allowing kids to explore and play. Our goal was really, and we talked to the county office about it, we want them to play. We don't want it to be a school assignment, and this is like a typewriter now. It's got to be fun, or a computer, I guess I should say. And we wanted to explore and see if they liked it. And the county office was great. They put that in the curriculum, was this whole explore zone. Kids got to feel if they liked it or not, which is great information. The facts are friendly. If you find you hate it, great. You know that now. You can move on to something else. If you find you like it, then you've got a little groove to follow.
What attracted you, Janie, to do the Padcaster training?
Well, I've always really enjoyed making videos with my students. I used to teach third grade, and we used to make a dance video every year. The first one we ever did was we beta tested Google Classroom when it was first coming out, and we made a thank you video for Google. So yeah, that was my first experience editing with iMovie. Since then, I had students help me with planning, and then we'd work our own projects. We would make a video about every chapter we read in the chapter book we were reading for class. Then besides the fact that we promote a video in our tech academies, it was really interesting seeing what a more like professional kit would be like. Like we put ours together just kind of looking for things on Amazon and testing things out. So yeah.
So when this came along, the Padcaster, you said, this is it. I got it.
Yeah. It was very interesting to see that as well as a curriculum.
Good. Well, let me tell people that if they want to contact you, Becca, your contact information is Becca, Becca, at communitytv, all one word, .org. Becca at communitytv.org. If you'd like to talk to Janie, especially if you're an educator, her email address is dtic at pvusd, which stands for Pajaro Valley Unified School District, .net. So again, it's DTIC, which stands for
District Tech Innovation Coach.
Okay, DTIC at pvusd.net. And if you'd like to call the Teacher Tech Support, their number is 831-786-2488. And you're open every day till 5 o'clock?
Till about 3:30. Yeah.
Sounds good. Good. So we have a few minutes for some final thoughts. Janie, you like to start?
Yeah, one thing that I've noticed with my work with video is now my new favorite thing is to airdrop the files. It made it so much easier, especially working with really little kids. Like with the older ones, I let them upload to the Google Drive app or things like that, or work directly on the iPad. But that's been like a new cool little tech tip.
And for people who don't know what airdrop is.
You can click share on the iPad for whatever file it is, and then on the phone where you want the file to go to, you need to go in the settings and turn on AirDrop, and it makes it so that you don't have to connect to a cord or anything. It'll just go to the device that's like open to take files.
Anything else that you learned that you want to share with people?
No, I just really highly recommend the experience.
Great. Final words for you.
Well, the thing that strikes me about the Padcaster is that they always tell you this. When you start out in television, you start out at pretty small stations, and the equipment, kind of okay. But the key is to learn to tell the story. It's not about the equipment. You can tell a story with a VHS camera or your phone or anything else you can get pictures with. You can tell the story. And I love this program because it takes away the mystique and the barrier to learning all these different pieces of equipment. You can just play with your iPad and learn to tell a story. Mm-hmm. And after that, you're pretty set up for just about anything. I mean, TV, but also writing, also fiction and nonfiction, and just communicating to your boss your idea.
Would you say that this Padcaster work that you do with the students helps them in many different aspects of their education? We're talking writing, we're talking communicating, working in teams, anything else?
Yeah, it's a great way to showcase any idea they want to share with the world.
It gets them out of their own thoughts and get them to express it in an, as you say, a pretty easy way.
Yeah, you don't have to think about the equipment. You're just thinking about your idea because the equipment is easy, thanks to Apple.
Yeah, it's more exciting and fun. It brings it like as a real-world application instead of just writing an essay.
I have one more question for you because you've done equipment grants. You talked about it in the beginning. Mm-hmm. We've done animation classes.
Yeah, I didn't mention that. I don't know why. I was thinking about it. Yeah, we have a real nice animation package that's real simple. We've granted it to Friends of the Library, and they came up with a curriculum for that. The library is a partner, and they get to use the library to teach this in, and kids get to learn to make animations, and not very many lessons, and they've produced them, and we've put them on TV.
And how many lessons did they get?
I think 5.
5 or 6?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I have the Padcaster. Mm-hmm. So then, of course, people are going to wonder, okay, what else do you have in your toolkit?
Oh,
what else?
Well, we have a big studio. We have a big TV studio with all the stuff, big camera, all the technical stuff that you have to learn how to use. The cameras and lights and audio and a big control room and all kinds of bells and whistles.
So for those who want to learn more, there is a next step at community television.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I want to thank both of you for being here, and with that enthusiasm that you show, I bet you maybe people themselves want to get a Padcaster because you have made it so much fun.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being here. And listeners, we'll see you in 2 weeks on Exploring Santa Cruz on ksqd.org, 88.5, 88.7, or 90.7 FM. Have a good day.